Home of Hope is a shelter and a home for what the UN calls children at risk. So children at risk includes everything from children who've been abandoned, children who are orphans, children who have certain social issues, violence at home, abuse, refugees, anything like that. But what specializes Home of Hope is that most of our kids are unwanted. That is unwanted, first of all, by their family, unwanted by the society, unwanted by the government, and unwanted usually by other institutions as well.
أنا عمري 12 سنة وأنا كنت على الطريق تركوني أهلي لحتى لقطوني الدرك بعدين جابوني لهون.
I feel great working here, and I came here hoping to help people who had much less than I did. So when I work with these kids, I feel like I'm giving them something that nobody else can give them. I feel like I'm helping them when nobody else will. So for me, especially as a volunteer, my payment, what I get is the simple knowledge that I'm doing a great service and acting as a role model for kids who would otherwise not have one.
صار لي هون 5 سنين.
I've been here for 5 years, and in those 5 years I've played the role of just about everything that a person can do, everything from being a child or helping the kids as a father, as a brother, as a teacher, as a director. And so my daily activities range from everything from helping the kids with their daily activities like schoolwork, cleaning their room, solving issues between the kids, to administrative things internally as well as externally, dealing with representatives of the government or other organizations. So really I kind of do a bit of everything. The best experience working at Home of Hope, again, is not a single experience, but it's something that you may experience every day, and that is when you spend time with a child and you try to teach him a lesson, he learns to take that responsibility. You see it coming out in his life. There's nothing more wonderful and more amazing than that, to know that you're making a difference, a long-term difference in this child's life, where he's going to take that principle or that knowledge that you've given to him and that example that you've played out before him to make a real lasting impact in his life. The hardest situation that I've had to face at Home of Hope, can't say it's one time, it's numerous times where it's the same experience, in that you work with the kids for sometimes years on end, and you get attached to them, they get attached to you, and you see them overcome many obstacles that were present in their life. But then, due to their own situation, whether it's abuse from the family or their own, perhaps they're refugees, whatever their situation is, but you find that situation repeats itself, and the kids are pulled back into that same situation they came from. So for example, I remember when I first came, there was a child who I worked with him for 3 years, and he was severely abused and severely neglected at home, and eventually ran away and came to Home of Hope. But after 3 years, because there's no child rights in Lebanon or the Middle East in general, the family was able to come and take him back and put him back to work on the street, and went back into child trafficking. And so it's really difficult to watch that happen and know that you have no power to control it, no ability to stop it. And to watch, this child who you care about and who cares about you be taken away is without a doubt the most difficult thing to have to continually replay and re-experience day after day. Services at Home of Hope include everything from acting as purely as a shelter for the children to acting as a school. So when the child first comes, we try to act purely just to shelter the kid from the situation that he was in, because most of the kids come from a background of violence, a background of abuse, a background of negligence, whether from their family or other people. So our first goal is to make the child feel like this is a safe place, a place where they can have their needs provided for, eating, drinking, a safe place to sleep, a warm environment.
أنا مبسوط هون، ما في حدا برا يتسلى معي، ما عندي حدا يطعمني ويسربني، بس هون في حدا، في مسؤولين كتير بدافعوا عني.
After that, if we feel the kid will stay for a long period of time, we enroll him in an internal education system here. It's a literacy program, so they learn how to read, write, and do basic arithmetic.
أنا هون كل يوم الصبح بنزل على الصف بدرس، بيخلص دوامي على الساعة 3، من الساعة 3 ل4:30 بستريح، وبس تصير 4:30 بقوم بلعب كيف ألعب فوتبول كل شيء. أيام العطلة بعمل شو ما بدي، بحضر التلفزيون، بقعد على التلفزيون، بقوم بتسلى مع رفقاتي، بلعب مونوبولي. أنا هوايتي البلاي ستيشن.
Some of the children we manage to get into private or public schools, but usually that's around 15 to 20% of the children. Each situation is different. And some of the older children, we're able to find work for them, where they go and work outside and come back. And some of them go to a vocational school. So just depending on the kid's situation, we try and provide what that child needs at the time.
وقت أكبر رح صير جيشي لحتى حامي بلدي.
Home of Hope has a lot of needs. Obviously there's material needs, everything from food, especially canned food, dried food, other material needs including clothing, blankets, mattresses. I mean everything that you can imagine that you use at home, there's a need. Especially we have an increasing number right now at 70 kids, but that number could increase daily. So there's the material needs, there's also personnel needs. Many of the people that help at Home of Hope are volunteers. So volunteers that come short term to do basic activities with the kids, volunteers to come in and teach the kids, volunteers to come long term and give a portion of their life to helping kids in this situation. And there's also a need for simple publicity, telling people about Home of Hope, telling people about the kids who are at Home of Hope, raising awareness. Because one of the greatest difficulties is that a lot of people either don't know or don't care about kids who are at risk. And so a big role that every one of us can play is telling people, taking an active role and not being blind and deaf to the issues that surround us. There's just one thing maybe I would like to add, and first of all, thank you for your concern, for your interest, and for everything that you can do for these children. And I want to encourage everyone to take an active role, to look around at the world that's around you and not be complacent to only be a bystander, but to look around at the kids that you see and the situations that they live in and say, I wouldn't want to live like that, and I wouldn't want my children to live like that. And so take that role, help these kids, and if you can help our kids at Home of Hope, we would be greatly appreciated. So thank you.